Unless your roster is absolutely stacked from top to bottom, you should be stashing some upside players, preferably at running back. You should at least have one. And there's some running backs on the waiver wire that you can pick up this week and stash going forward to see what happens with them, to see if something happens with the starting running back. And one of the top stash running backs is still on the waiver wire in like half the leagues out there. Most of the people who follow the channel already got him stashed. We've been talking about prior to the season as a pickup in the last rounds of your draft. But Braelon Allen has been proven his worth all along. We're going to deep dive the numbers again because we've done this before. Matter of fact, multiple times to let you know why you need him or don't need him for fantasy football. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing deep dives on these players every day, as many players as possible to help you find the players you want to roster. We're going over the advanced analytics, the trends, and everything else. We're also using these videos to help you set your lineups. Click that button, stop missing out. But we're looking at Braelon Allen. Last week, 9.8 PPR fantasy points. The week prior, he blew up with 19.6. A lot of people went off on him on the waiver wire then, but he was still sitting there after that because people wanted to see a little bit more. He's a rookie running back. He's playing behind Breece Hall. Kind of understandable, but on the back end of your roster, you're not starting all your players. So stashing a guy here and there with some upside is a smart thing to do, especially a player that's already flashing the potential. Braelon Allen's doing that, and he's a young player. He's just 20 years old, and during his freshman season, he was a 17-year-old running back, rushing for 1,200 yards at Wisconsin, one of the top running backs in all of college football, getting 12 touchdowns. The year after that, he turns 18 in his second season, 11 touchdowns, 1,200 yards again. But in 2023, last year, 984 yards, 12 touchdowns. We were dealing with an ankle injury. It slowed him down, but this is one of the reasons why he fell in the NFL draft. He wasn't testing. He was slow in those games. He did not look right in those games because he was coming back from a high ankle sprain, and a lot of people noticed that on tape, but they did not take the prior games into consideration. He falls to round 4 in the NFL draft. Prior to that, he's blowing up with games like this. This one against Illinois, 162 total yards, a touchdown, 112 yards after contact, missed tackles galore. That's the Braelon Allen show. And in 2023, 3.77 yards after contact per attempt, forced 49 missed tackles, would have had his career best in those numbers if it weren't for the ankle injury. But we're looking good. 3.66 yards after contact per attempt on his career. We fall to round 4, but at 6'1", 235 pounds, one of the best collegiate profiles out there in this year's NFL draft among running backs with his production at just 20 years old. Should not have fell this far in the draft, but he did not test because he had the ankle issue, and that impacted him. He talked about it during that time as well, but no one gave him the grace. No one looked back at his older tape or paid attention to it or discounted him due to that. But the Jets caught a discount. A running back that should have got drafted round 2, round 3, that should have been up there. He's already got an RB 1 week on the season. Just took him 2 weeks to do so. We're in 3 weeks of the season, and we're averaging 10.7 PPR fantasy points per game, averaging 4.11 yards after contact per attempt. We're looking good. We're looking solid right now, and Braelon Allen is currently PFF's #1 graded running back in the entire NFL by rushing grade. This was on September 20th. 5.1 yards per carry, 19 attempts for 96 yards, 4.11 yards after contact per attempt. During that time, he has been balling out, not getting enough volume to really go off because we got Breece Hall there, who's a stud running back, one of the top running backs in the National Football League. We got 4.3 speed. We're great in the passing game. But we're talking about handcuffs here. And we're talking about a handcuff behind a stud running back who's also catching balls out of backfield, getting targets. So if something happens to Breece Hall, you know Braelon Allen's going to get those opportunities. Breece Hall's a stud. Breece Hall's a stud. He's not usurping Breece Hall. Nobody is. Breece Hall's good. He's averaging 17.7 PPR points per game over the last 2 seasons. Breece Hall's a stud. Breece Hall's getting the workload. Braelon Allen's chipping away at some workload, getting a 25% share of the carries out of the backfield, and the opportunity share of 16% compared to Breece Hall's 39%. And then on top of that, rocking on 29% of the snaps, has 8 targets on the season, which is a good bit considering your backup to Breece Hall. Limited opportunity there, played on just 52 snaps on top of 19 carries. Looking solid, getting used in the passing game. Also has a receiving touchdown in the season. The Jets run the ball a good bit. They rush it at a good clip. And we're looking at a running back here that should have got drafted higher. That should be the starting running back for another team like the Dallas Cowboys, grinding it between the tackles, getting 20 to 30 touches a game. That's what we're seeing with him right now. Tons of upside, especially if something happens to Breece Hall, because he's going to get all the workload. You don't want him. You already got your stash running back. You're good to go. You're stacked from top to bottom. Most of you do need a stash running back. This is a top-tier stash running back right here. He's already proven his worth for fantasy football. He's already showing his upside, showing how he could be used once he gets the opportunity, if he gets the opportunity. But still, Braelon Allen is a player you need to pay attention to, is a player that needs picked up off waivers, even if he's sitting on your bench for a few weeks. Just in case. You do not want to fight for him off the waiver wire. You do not want to fight with him with the fab if that happens, because he's going to go over the moon in value. A lot of people got him rostered. A lot of people follow this channel got him rostered. Why don't you follow suit? Because this is a running back with a lot of upside. Usually, I'm not this aggressive with the you need videos. Usually, I'm like, hey, it's up to you. It's up to you. This guy's kind of good. He's probably going to get some work. This is a premier stash. A premier stash, a top-tier stash player that needs to be rostered in all leagues. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.